in Nepal. In fact, the timing of my visit was a little bit coincidental. It's very nice that I'm here for the South Asian Championship. I was actually around for the founding of the body, which was in Dhaka in Bangladesh a few years ago. So I was there right at the beginning of this. I'm basically here to talk to the Federation about prospects for development. I think they had good people in the Federation, and I think that Nepal has the potential to develop quite significantly in the coming years. And there are an increasing number of tournaments taking place. I was delighted to be at the National Schools Championship yesterday for the closing ceremony of the National Schools Championship, which is now in its 18th year. And there are lots of other things going on. And I think that Nepal has a significant potential. In fact, you've got a geographical advantage in this country in that you're next door to a chess superpower, India, of course, and I think there is a lot of potential for collaboration with India. Actually, it already goes on, but to quite a significant extent. But I can see this deepening and strengthening in the coming years. So. About different ideas for different trainers. There's maybe a shortage of technical people here in Nepal, maybe not enough arbiters, referees, arbiters, but these things I believe will be addressed in the coming months. Is that all right for an introduction? Any questions?
You said we have an advantage having a geographical connection with India. I wish it was transmitted geographically, but I don't think it does transmit. But have we been able to get the advantage of that geographical connection, a proximity to superpower, the chess superpower India?
I think there are all sorts of possibilities, particularly for trainers in this country. So if they're coming from next door, and they're very high quality. If they're coming from next door,
it'll be cheaper. It'll
be cheaper, and it'll be easier.
But have we been doing it now?
To a degree, and I think that's right, isn't it? There is quite a bit of collaboration, and I just think. It needs to strengthen. I'm very glad that also Mr. Bharat Singh will be coming later today. He will be attending the opening. He's from the All India Chess Federation. He's the key guy in the federation. He has a very positive opinion of Nepal. And these are his friends, cousins, whatever you want to say. I was with Bharat Singh in Nagpur a few days ago. So we were talking about Nepal quite a lot at that time. So yeah, I think that there is potential. There have been, maybe one or two internal issues.
Grandmaster is going to the world stage from Nepal.
I don't see why not, but currently,
coming days,
currently, the level is not high enough. So I think there is a gap between what is currently the situation, what is necessary. So we're talking, and if I don't know how much you know about chess, so I may get a little bit technical here, and I apologise if people don't know everything about it. So the leading player in the country has a rating of, I don't know, 2250 or something like that. In order to get to Grandmaster level, it has to be about 2500. And 200 points, just purely technically, is considered to be a class difference. That was the inventor of this rating system, Professor Arpad Elo. He termed 200 points a class difference. So it's actually more than a class difference required for Nepal to get a Grandmaster. But if you're talking about South Asia, I mean, you see now in some countries that have not traditionally been very strong, let's say Sri Lanka, now has players pushing up at that level, and I don't see why things cannot be replicated here. I think the key thing, to be honest, is it's numbers. And you've got to get people involved in the game and involved. So it's the usual pyramid. The wider the base, the higher it goes. And I think maybe historically the base has not been wide enough. It is widening, and it is a process. And the best way to do this is really at the junior level. They are the GMs of the future. It's no good looking to somebody who is 30 years old today and expecting that this guy is going to become a GM, because he isn't. It's as simple as that. And it's a game for. It is a game for young people, kids. They learn incredibly fast. When I was in Nagpur just now in the Maharashtra chess tournament that was taking place, there was one 13-year-old got a Grandmaster norm there. So they have, India has this incredible depth of talent. I joke a little bit, I say it's another week, it's another Grandmaster from India. It's an exaggeration, but it's not much of an exaggeration, so, but I see absolutely no reason at all why Nepal cannot replicate this to some degree. One thing I'd like to say is there has been an extraordinary democratization of information in the chess world. Because in the old days, it was really, really important to be living close to some chess center and playing regularly with people and have access to literature. Very important to have access to books and so on. And what has changed is that learning tools have become very widely available. So, for example, you know, you take a learning tool. If I have my phone here, I can, you know, download an engine for free on this iPhone, and that engine will be able to crush the world champion. So that is an extraordinarily powerful tool to have at your disposal. So this is not belonging to any, you know, select secretive group. It's just available to anybody who could afford a phone. So those things are there. There are an incredible number of courses available freely online. If you go on YouTube, there are all sorts of things on the different servers. So the information is just there. It's not exclusive to some tiny group. It's a question of how you make use of that information. I can talk about this at great length. For me, it's a fascinating subject. You know, I am old enough to remember when India was a mediocre chess nation, you know, because if you would go back to the 1970s, it was pretty ordinary. Now it's a giant. I mean, it's an absolute giant. You know, you go back to the 1970s, and they had Aaron. He was the international master. He was not a bad player, but no world beater at all. And they came through after Vishwanathan Anand, basically. I call them Anand's children, or grandchildren these days. And he grew up in Madras, Chennai today, and that was not by accident. He grew up there because that was the chess center of India at that time. Nowadays, everywhere is a chess center. It's a chess center in India. So and people have those tools at their disposal that enable them to progress. So you know, the potential is there. There've got to be regular tournaments, and this is, you know, I've already spoken about this at the school's event. Actually, I was saying that in order to get to the two things, you have to play a lot and you have to study a lot, and this is something which is true of any subject which is inherently difficult. Now, let's say, I don't know, let's say you play the piano. Now, if you want to become a concert pianist, it's not enough to play for 2 hours on a Saturday afternoon. You will never do that. You might get to a level where you're playing songs that will make you happy and maybe some of your friends, but you will never be performing in concert halls around the world. No chance. You've got to put in a lot of work. So that is true of chess. Chess is a very demanding mistress. So you've got to give a lot to it. So there is the playing and the studying, and as I say, there's a huge amount of material that is available for free. So you can't say, you know, people are disadvantaged because they can't afford, you know, to have a massive library. If you've got access to the internet, there's a whole world of information out there. So that is, those things have changed, but there've got to be regular tournaments. And, you know, to use these old cliches, I think it was the golfer, Gary Player, he said, I believe he said, the harder I practice, the luckier I get, you know. And it's true. It's true of chess. The luckier you get, the more. So you need, and just to say one thing about my own career, you know, I'm from the northwest of England, originally close to the Manchester area, and for year after year, I was playing more chess than any other player in the north of England. I happened to become the best player. Now, maybe it's a coincidence, and maybe it's not. In my opinion, it's no coincidence at all. I put in a lot of work. So it's one of those things. So there need to be those opportunities. I know they are having tournaments here. They're having international tournaments. I haven't quite, as yet, found out exactly how many of these tournaments, but they don't always have to be international events. You know, very often national events are good. You play in the city, you play the best players, but then also you need that change of blood. Otherwise it becomes too incestuous with people playing each other in a small region. So you need people from outside coming in, and that's where you have your international tournaments, like this one, right behind me. I hope I answered that. Okay.